gets really close to my face. I thought he was going to kiss me. Like, I was worried he was gonna hug me. I was worried he was gonna kiss me. I was terrified. Hello, my little caterpillar. Hello, beautiful caterpillars. And today I have kind of like a story time video for you guys. This happened to me a couple weeks ago, and it was really creepy, and like I felt really uncomfortable the entire time it was happening. So let's get into it. So I was walking out doing my papers, and this is not uncommon to happen to me, not this particular thing, but like the question that he asked me, because he is on one of my paper routes. He is like a marketplace customer, like someone that a flyer that we do, like paper we do weekly, and I just thought he was asking me if he saying that he didn't get a marketplace or something. So I I went over to talk to the guy. I've seen him around around town, like around his house a few times, like a bunch of times. I talked to him once before about, and he asked me if he said he didn't get a marketplace, and I was like, oh, they haven't been delivered yet, kind of thing. So he asked me anyway. So today I was like fall, I was crossing the road near him, and there's other people around, like out and about around the, like out in their houses. So I didn't think a big deal of it. He was like, oh, what paper do you have there? And I was like, oh, I've got like this paper. And he didn't hear me, and he like came halfway, and then I met him halfway. So we're standing in the middle of the road. It's like a quiet street, so it was okay to stand in the middle road for the most part. But he like asked me what paper I was delivering, and he was like, oh, he wanted to know. He was like, oh, I want one. How do I get one? And I was like, oh, you'll have to call the paper company and say that you want to get a paper. And he was like, oh, I haven't got like this paper, this other flyer that goes around town. And I was like, oh, well, I don't do those, so I don't know like when they've been delivered and stuff. He's like, oh, I got the marketplace, I just don't know, or this flyer that I deliver, but I don't have this one. I was like, I can't help you, like I don't know, I don't deliver that paper. And he was like, oh, how do I get this paper? He was like, can I see the paper you have? So I showed him it, and then he took it from me, and I was like, crap, I hope I get this back. But before this had happened, I just started talking to this guy, and I thought I was going to be kidnapped because he told me to move closer to him, and I was like, why? Because he gestured like this, like come here, like come this way. And I like was a little nervous, like why does he want me to move off the road, like why can't we just talk here? So I looked back behind me, and there was a car coming down the road, so that's why he like gestured me to come closer to him. And I just had started talking to this guy, and I got really scared and nervous because the car slowed down as it got towards us, and I was like, oh my god, this is the point where I get kidnapped. And if that car, like, so I was watching the car when it came down the street, because all of a sudden it started to slow down just as it got next to us, but it was just the neighbors pulling into the car beside them. But I thought I was going to get kidnapped. I was like, this old man, I'm like, he could be like in on it, like he lured me in, and now they're gonna like grab me and like throw me in this car and like take me away. Like I was really nervous. If that car had stopped behind us, like behind him, I would have been gone. I would have booked it out of there as fast as I could. But thank God I wasn't getting kidnapped. Like I'd seen this old man before, so I, a bunch of times, so I didn't think that he was going to do anything to me. But he like asked to see the paper. And then at one point he like introduced himself, like, oh, I'm so and so, like put out his hand to shake it. So I shook his hand, and then he wouldn't let go of my hand. Like after you kind of like shook, he was like hanging like death grip onto it. So I had to like yank my hand away from the guy. He told me he was like a 72-year-old man. My parents know him too. He was asking me like who my parents were, which isn't uncommon in a small town to ask, like, oh, who's your parents? Like maybe I know your parents, kind of thing. And he was like, oh yeah, I know them. Sometimes I get asked who's your grandparents, depending on like what age group the people are, because they're like, oh, like who are your grandparents? Who do you belong to? Kind of thing, because I do live in a small town, which everyone kind of knows everyone. Like everyone just kind of, yeah. Anyways, everyone's pretty much related to everyone if you go far back enough. It's that kind of small town. But anywho, so he like took the paper and was like, how can I buy this paper? Like I want to get this paper. And I was like, oh, you have to call the company in. And I was like, if you want this particular copy, you'll have to like go uptown to buy it. And like during this time he kept getting closer to my face. I was worried he was going, we'd probably be talking for about 5 minutes, and I was worried he was like, because he kept getting closer to my face, and like the whole thing where he wouldn't let go of my hand, and then he kept trying to grab my hand afterwards, which was super creepy. He could like go for my hand, like I moved it away from him, and I was worried he was gonna like, he got really close to my face, and like I was worried he was gonna like try to put his arm around me or like hug me or something. And then this last part really like creeped me out to like the max. He had the paper in one hand that he still had not given back to me, and he was going on about how he used to deliver papers all around town and stuff, and like we were talking for about 5 minutes. Like, I didn't want to be rude and be like, I need to go, because I didn't want, like, there was a lull in the conversation. Like, there wasn't literally a lull. He just kept on telling me these things and, like, asking me things, and he still hadn't given me back my paper yet, so I couldn't leave because I needed that paper to go deliver someone else. And I was trying to get that message across to him that, like, he couldn't have this paper, that that paper belonged to someone else. I think he thought I was going around, like, trying to sell the paper, which was not true. I like told him, I was like, no, these people have already paid for this paper, like it belongs to someone else, like I don't have extra ones to give to you to buy off you. And just before I get a chance to leave, like after this happened, there was kind of a lull and I was able to leave. But he, like I said, he kept trying to grab my hand during the conversation, and I'd like moved it away, and at this point he grabbed my hand, got the paper in his other hand, gets really close to my face. I thought he was going to kiss me, and then goes, but sweetheart, but he's like, but I wanted to buy this paper from you, sweetie, and like got real, like he's this far away from me. I thought he was gonna kiss me, and then I was like, oh no, like I backed up. He had my hand. I like pulled my hand back away from him, and like, cause he had my hand resting on his chest, like he'd hold it like this, and was like, but sweetheart, I want to buy this paper from you. And I was like, oh, you can't, like this belongs to someone else. I'm like, if you want this particular paper, go uptown and buy it from the local convenience store we have up there that sells them. Because he was asking me how much it was, and I was like, I have no idea. And then I was like, actually, can I have my paper back, because I need to go now, because it was kind of like a little lull in the conversation. Before he'd like started, he'd kind of like finished, and he was gonna start again trying to tell me something. And I was like, actually, I really need to go, I need that paper back. So luckily I got the paper back, and I like just booked it out of there, and I haven't seen that old man since. But I was like so uncomfortable, so nervous. I was like telling my mom that, and like my friends, and they were like, that's really not okay. Like, I was worried he was gonna hug me, I was worried he was gonna kiss me, I was terrified. Like, I didn't know what this guy was gonna do. I thought I was gonna get kidnapped when I first talked to him. I thought I was gonna be hugged and like kissed, and he told me he was 72 and he was talking about his wife, and I'm like, can you, like, he got so close. He was about this close to me, and he kept getting closer, like farther away, and I just was so uncomfortable, and I wanted to leave so bad, but he had my paper, and I didn't want to be rude, so I didn't leave. And it was like, I got away, but I was just like, I felt so uncomfortable. Like, it was so awkward. Like, I was like, I don't know what he's gonna do to me. Like, I was worried, like, but needless to say, I haven't seen that man again, and I won't go near him again. My mom was like, don't talk to him again, and I was like, I won't. Like, my parents know him, and my dad was like, yeah, he's got like a few screws loose, and I was like, I think he maybe has dementia. And I was like, probably. Like, he smelled like mouthwash. Like, I could smell like the alcohol mint of mouthwash, like just on his breath, but he didn't smell like he'd been drinking, so I don't know if he was drinking or what, but it kind of smelled more like mouthwash because of how close he got to me. But I was like super weirded out, super awkward. I was like, don't talk to me. Like, I was terrified. And like, being a girl, you know, I feel like we're worried about that thing, like being kidnapped, being overtaken. Like, I was worried. He was 72 years old. He looked like a feeble old man, but who do I know? I'm not very like, get away from here. And I was like just super uncomfortable and weirded out by it. And it was just so creepy how close he got to me, and he made me feel so uncomfortable. But I didn't want to be rude and be like, can you get the heck away from my face? Like, I need to leave, you need to stop talking to me, kind of thing. But yes. Like, I know old men can be kind of cute, and they do kind of sometimes hit on you and stuff, and I have had old men kind of hit on me, but it was like really awkward and strange, and I just felt completely uncomfortable in the situation, and I was like scared, and I didn't know what to do. But I've like not seen him since, which I'm super glad about, and I probably won't talk to him before. I've had another guy which I'll tell you guys in a later story, hit on me, and like I was friends with his daughter, and his daughter, like his two kids were a year older and a year younger than I am, and I'm like, why are you hitting on me? You have children you're my age. Like, that's creepy. Stop, buddy, stop. Like, it was super creepy. But anyways, let me know if you guys have had anything like scary happen to you, like some scary stories in the comments down below. If this thing has ever happened to you, even with like not an old guy but with like a drunk guy, I feel like it'd be scary as well. Or just even of any person, like women too can, it happens. You can get kidnapped, people get kidnapped. I'm not gonna say all the time, but kidnapping does happen. Women do get, not just women, people do get abused and thrown in cars, and like, creepy stuff happens, and people violate their personal space a lot too. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to talk about it because it was really uncomfortable, really scary, and I just, I just wanted to share with you guys because it was really creepy what happened to me, and I felt completely uncomfortable, and I didn't know what to do in the situation, and I didn't want to be rude, although I should have just been and like, told him that I needed to leave, early on into the conversation. But like, there was no lull, there was no point where I was like, can I get my paper back? Because I was worried he was going to keep that, and my mom was like, you could have went and bought another one if he kept it. If it was turned out to be that like much of an issue that you couldn't get it back from him, my mom was like, we would have went and tried to get you another paper. Like, if it came down to life and death, Jenna, don't worry about a paper. Like, you can buy a new one. Your life is more important, kind of thing. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you later. Goodbye, little butterflies. Bye. Let me know if you like these story time videos kind of thing, because I have a couple good ones. I've got some Tinder stories that I'm going to be putting up soon. I'm not really sure when, but there are like some good ones, some juicy details. There's ones that's like rated R. But yeah, let me know if you guys enjoy these videos, because I have a couple more funny stories that stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, butterflies. Bye. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy storytime videos. Okay, bye. Hello, caterpillars, and today we are doing September to October's empty. Hello, beautiful caterpillars, and today we are doing the top 10 under $10. I just did last week, or